اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك وأنت مسدد للثواب بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأقل يا غفور أثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من قربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وأثرة قد أقلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاش في الخلق أمره وحمده، الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما، إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وسفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك عن قبيح عملي، وحلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطايا كما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك، أسألك عفوك آمنا، وأسألك مستأنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبت عني أتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبت عني هو خير لي علمك بعاقبة الأمور، فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد اللعين منك علي يا رب. إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك. كأن لي يتطول عليك فلم يمنعك ذلك من رحمتي والإحسان إليك والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل الإحسان، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالك الأسباب ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه، وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق خالق الأسباب ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعث فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاهده، ولا ظهير يعادله. قهر العزة وتواضع على عظمته العظمى، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي، ويستر علي كل أورة وأنا أعصي، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنية قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني، فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يحتك حجابه، ولا يغلق بابه، ولا يرد السائل، ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن للخائفين، وينجي الصالحين، ويرفع المستضعفين، ويذع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وعمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وسفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبع العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله. مكن له دينه الذي ارتزيته له أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نسيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا واشعب به صدعنا وارتق به فتقنا وكثر به قلتنا وعزز به ذلتنا وأغن به عائلنا وأغذ به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به خلتنا ويسر به عسرنا وبيذ به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنجح به طلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وعاتنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا وعاتنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا واذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا فصل على محمد وآله وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله وبضر تكشف ونصر تعز وسلطان حق تظهر ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فادخلنا وفي عليين فارفعنا وبكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فاخدمنا ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فأطعمنا ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فألبسنا وليلة القدر وحج بيتك الحرام وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا وفي عذابك وحوانك فلا تبتلنا ومن الزقوم والذريع فلا تطعمنا ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم المشكور سعيهم المغفور ذنوبهم المكفر عن سيئاتهم وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل أمري في خير وعافية وتوسع في رزقي وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بي غيري. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلهي وقف السائلون ببابك ولاذ الفقراء بجنابك ووقفت سفينة المساكين على ساحل بحر جودك وكرمك يرجون الجواز إلى ساحة رحمتك ونعمتك. إلهي إن كنت لا ترحم في هذا الشهر الشريف إلا لمن أخلص لك في صيامه وقيامه فمن للمذنب المقصر إذا غرق في بحر ذنوبه وآثامه. إلهي إن كنت لا ترحم إلا المطيعين فمن للعاسين وإن كنت لا تقبل إلا من العاملين فمن للمقصرين. إلهي ربح الصائمون وفاز القائمون ونجا المخلصون ونحن عبيدك المذنبون فارحمنا برحمتك وعاتقنا من النار بعفوك واغفر لنا ذنوبنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
ख़वातीन से गुजारिश है कि पेरेंटिंग प्रोग्राम के लिए आप लोगों से इस तरफ आ जाएं। ख़वातीन से गुजारिश है कि मर्दाना हॉल के एक हिस्से के अंदर उनका एहतमाम किया, वहाँ पे तशरीफ़ लें। आप लोगों से गुजारिश है कि फ़ातिहा की शानदार भाई, नवेद भाई और यावर भाई और अली भाई, इनके मरहुमीन के लिए एक फ़ातिहा, एक अलहम्द और 3 दफ़ा कुल पढ़ के उनको बख्श दें।
صل على محمد. Listen. थोड़ा पानी दे, you can have some water, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Brothers and sisters, my elders, respected Maulana Sahab, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome you all to part one of two workshops that we will have on this topic of raising Shia children in the West and safeguarding the future generations, inshallah. The format of the workshop today will be such that Maulana will have an address followed by a question and answer session. So if anyone has any questions, we'll pass some papers around and pens, and you can write down the questions. So it won't be an open mic, but we'll pass the papers around. On the ladies' side as well, they can write down their questions. Please ensure that the questions are relevant to today's topic. So raising Shia children in the West and safeguarding future generations. So as much as we might be curious, but no fiqh questions that are not related to this, so specific to today's topic. The second session will be next Friday, the 29th, I believe it is, at the same time, inshallah. So without further delay, we're very lucky and honored to have Maulana with us. He has been in the UK community for many years, and he himself, his kids have also been brought up there. So there's a lot of experience and guidance and wisdom that we can benefit from today, inshallah. I would welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد. First of all, a little indication of what we're going to discuss today, rather tonight. I was asked to have a workshop for a topic that had two different segments, and primarily it was for, as the topic, this particular one says, raising Shia children in the West. And the second topic was safeguarding future generations in the West. Now, because these two topics are so closely intertwined that to separate them would be very difficult. So what we have done is that we have combined both of these topics together to give a smoother flow of the understanding of what we will be discussing. So that we can have an understanding on how to approach this issue of raising Shia children in the West. Before I start, I see a couple of faces who had asked me a few questions yesterday. If you can meet me after the session, I will answer your queries. Before I start, there are certain rules that we need to set out so that you know what we are discussing, about whom we are discussing, and where do we actually want to take this discussion forward. When you're talking about raising Shia children, what are we looking at? What age group? Year 2, year 3, year 30, year 29? So it's a very motley of the age group that we're looking at, and we have to focus on a specific age group to concretize the discussion and to make it worthwhile. I was going through the Australian education system, little realized that there's a slight difference between the general setup amongst various states. So focusing on Victoria, I realized that you've got your primary schooling from that goes from 5 years to 12 and 13 years. That means prep and years 1 to year 6. And then you've got your secondary schools between 12 to 17 years of age, which is year 7 to year 12. I would like to focus the discussion tonight on an age group between 5 to 15. And there's a reason for it. I have been with the education system in Tanzania for the past 8 years, where we were handling the Al-Muntazir schools. Those who've been to Africa would know. We were controlling, we were managing 5 schools under the Al-Muntazir brand, each school with 1,000 students. We got 5,000 students under us, including the sons of the president of Tanzania, Mr. Jakaya Kikwete, when he was the president. And so having seen this education system very closely, personally, so we're part of the management team that were handling the system. And then with my family in Europe and in the United Kingdom, initially when I was given this workshop, what I'm going to, skipping out everything, what I'm going to talk today is just experience. Practice what we've seen. Because that's theoretical doesn't play any role. It's what is there in practice. So I'm going to talk to you on things that are seen and felt. At times we see things when we know these things are wrong. At times we see things and we know these things are right. In practice is what matters. Theory doesn't matter. So what I'm going to speak to you today is my practical experience of how the upbringing of a child needs to be monitored, specifically in the West. Having said that, you also have to realize that in the United Kingdom, we are a generation and a half ahead of you people. So while you may be the second generation over here, almost very small number in the third generation, we are already heading into the fourth generation. So we are a generation and a half ahead of you. A lot of things that we see over there have come over here, and with the passage of time will come over here. And so there may be certain things that I may be presenting to you, which you may feel they're not relevant here, but rest assured they will come down over here, if they've not come down already. There are certain major initiatives that are being taking place that are extremely challenging for the kids. And as the community set up, we need to prepare ourselves for it. But as a community, while we may prepare ourselves, more important for the community than the community is the individual setups and the families. And this is where I want to highlight to you certain things. I'm seeing quite a young number of young people who are either recently married or will slowly get married and get children. This is very important that you don't go into the quagmire that the elders of you have taken place and fallen into. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. In Nahj al-Balagha, when he's referring to his wasiyat to his son Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wa salam, Imam is telling Imam Hassan, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is telling Imam Hassan, look Hassan, I'm giving you certain wasiyat, and this is very important. I'm giving you certain pieces of advice. You have 2 options in this world. Either you listen to my advice and save yourself from the problems that you would face, or 2, you reinvent the wheel and start learning everything all over again. Whether you reinvent the wheel or you hear from me, this world is going to teach you. It is rather you learn from me rather than reinvent the wheel. Because in trying to reinvent the wheel, you will face a lot of problems. Take heed from my experience. And this is not for Imam Hassan, this is for us to understand. Okay, I have learned something in life I want to pass on to you. Take it and move forward. Don't try to start where I started from, because you will go through the same problems that I had to go through. So I'm giving you on a silver platter. Take it and take it forward. Having said that, this is what I want to present before you. Certain things, we travel the world over, we've seen communities, we've had these workshops, we've seen things at close hand. And because of the language of communication that we employ, I'm usually in the part of the world that where you are in, into the Western culture. And so we pick up things that's not very different from what you face over here. And so I will bring out certain issues that you will see. Having said that, there will be certain things that might be very pungent and very toxic to you. Because when certain things take place in the house and somebody says it, it's not very good to hear. But I don't know anybody's situation in the house. All I know is individuals that I see. Ahmed Hassan is over there, and Hassan Bhai and X-Wazir and Dr. Saab. I don't know the situation in everybody's house. So that whatever I say is not pinpointing to any family setup. That's point number one. Point number two, this is not a criticism of sorts. It's what we've seen, what needs to be presented so that it is changed, so that our community works for the better. That's point number two. Point number three, the reason I've selected this 5 to 15 is for a specific purpose. And these are all experiences that I'm speaking. I'm not young anymore. But I've gone through and I've seen it. This is for the parents and intended parents. Always understand, this period between 5 and 15 are the formative years of your children. People might say 18 and 19 and 20 and full on and full on. 5 and 15. When I say formative years, I'm not talking about physical self. The mentality and the ideology. These 10 years shape the mentality and the ideology of your child, male or female, which will then continue for the rest of the life. If you get hold of your children in this setup, they are sorted out. 5 and 15. You miss out this date of 15. When I say 15, plus minus one couple of years. You miss them out here, you've lost them. The reason is after 15 and 16, you have no control. You can control their mindset before 15. After 16 and 17, you can't control. The reason is that they become independent, that thinking becomes independent, and most of all, the West gives them that empowerment to stand up and pick up the phone and make a call. I'm being forced. And there's always this gap between, should I let him go or should I let him do whatever I want? You know what I'm talking about. Quite a lot of things I'll mention in nutshells. You elders are good enough. Everything does not need to be conveyed to the kids. So having said this, this is focused on raising kids. And because if you get hold of a 5 and 15-year-old kid, get his mentality right, get his attitude right, get his priorities right, get his understanding right, this 15-year-old is going to be your future generations. So if you've saved a child between 5 and 15, you've safeguarded that particular generation that will come from him. And that's why I'm focusing on 5 and 15. What happens beyond 15 is for some other program. I can't incorporate all because I will compromise everything. It will just move out of the plate. Having said that, with a brief introduction, you have to realize you have no option and we have no option except to focus on our children. And why? Because they are our baqiyatu salihat. They are the ones who are going to take care of us when we are in the grave. If we don't take care of them now, they will not take care of us when we've gone into the grave. And we can never guarantee ourselves what will happen when we go down. So that's point number one. Point number two, and this is the beginning before I go into the actual topic. Understand one thing very clearly. In this world, nothing happens without the tafaddul and the lutf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mentioned it yesterday and last night in the majlis. You think your business is running because of your business acumen, you're making a big mistake. You think your business is flourishing because of your business strategies, you're making a big mistake. Till that divine help does not come, a person cannot be successful. Get this ingrained in your minds. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Categorically, every ni'mah that you get, whether it is money, whether it is izzat, whether it is house, whether it is spouse, whether it is children, whether it is status in the society, whether it is comfort, whether it is good health, وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. It comes from God. Having understood this, never expect that you or I can raise good children in a proper manner, in a religious manner, without the help of God. Keep this focused. You might say, I'm going to do this for my child, I'm going to do that for the child. You leave God out of it, you're making a big mistake. God says, if you think you're able to do things yourself, do it. And Quran says, the moment God leaves somebody, then shaitan fallahu qareen, he comes and immediately fills up the void that God has made. So you cannot leave God out of it. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this is that many times when I go to these workshops and these sessions and say, oh, Maulana, I'm Sheikh, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. But I don't see God inside. Where is God? And we've always been told, Urdu mein kehte na, dua honi chahiye aur dawa honi chahiye. We are only going with dawa. We are not going with dua. And our Masumin have constantly reminded us, you want help for your children, you need to also turn to God. So what we're going to present in today's and next session's lecture is the dua and the dawa. Dua, we will keep it for a little later for the next session. Today we will give you the dawa, the medicine that you need to do. But remember always at the back of your mind, never think whatever you enact is what is going to work out. You need his help. If he thinks you are acting independently, he will move his hand off. If he moves his hand off, there becomes a vacuum. In a vacuum, shaitan comes in. فَهُوَ قَرِينٌ. I'll give you an example. Jafar al-Kadhab. Whose son was he? Son of a Ma'soom. Whose brother was he? Brother of a Ma'soom. Taught in whose house? House of a Ma'soom. Becomes a person who claims imamat in after the death of Imam Askari. How? This is a Ma'soom family. How? It happens. Second, the opposite side. Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr. Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr, son of Abu Bakr, the first Khalifa. We don't need to tell you about Abu Bakr. His son becomes one of the closest companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen. You know what Amir al-Mu'mineen said about Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr? He says, Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr is my son who came from the loins of Abu Bakr. Son of Abu Bakr becomes one of the muhib. How? This is God playing word. Muhammad ibn Muawiyah ibn Yazid, the second Muawiyah, the son of Yazid. What happened? He comes to the Khilafat, he gives the Khilafat back. This is not my Khilafat. This belongs to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. Why? This is because my father did wrong. My grandfather did wrong. Yazid did wrong. Muawiyah did wrong. Abu Sufyan did wrong. This does not belong to us. This belongs to the Ahlul Bayt. He was killed. Some say after 20 days, 40 days, 2 months, 3 months, different riwayat. They had him killed, Bani Umayyah. We can't allow this go back to Imam Sajjad after what we did in Karbala. How is it possible a son of Yazid comes out this way? Yazid, who massacred Medina, who destroyed Mecca and the Khana Kaaba, who killed Hussein. His son is saying my father was wrong. How does it work out? And how does it work out? My family, we are reciting Namaz al-Shab, we're coming to the Majalis for that. My son doesn't want to enter the masjid. How? Remember God. Having played the groundwork, let's move forward. Duas, I will give you. I'll give you secrets that the Masumin have given to us. Certain secrets that break the misconceptions that we've got. But that is for the second session. This session, we need to take it forward. I've divided this entire discussion of today, of tonight and next week, Friday, is it? Into 5 segments. And all the topics and all the issues that I will be discussing, these are practical. These are practical experiences. I'm not going to go too much into ahadith because I will make references. But this is what I've seen with my eyes, what I've experienced myself. So 5 segments, and I will name those segments and then we will start going. We'll see however long it takes, and then we will open the floor to the question answers. Questions that will be related to topic that I will be speaking next week, I will not answer. I will answer next week. So probably what you've asked will be answered next week. The 5 topics, the 5 segments in which I'm going to summarize these 2 workshops. 1, and this is related, some related to the family setup, the parents, some related to the community setup. One, children need guidance. When I open it up, you will see how practical things are and how we need to really be on our alert. So first segment is the children. You need to understand children need guidance. It's 5 and 15. Second, children need you and your time. 3, in raising children, Shia children in the West, we need to be setting priorities. The parents need to set priorities and become responsible parents. That's 3. Point number 4, which will probably come next week, is don'ts. Certain things you don't do. You do it at the peril of the upbringing of your children. You just can't do those things. Those are the don'ts. You do that, don't expect a child to be coming out anytime, every Shabbat Jummah in the masjid. It doesn't work. Those don'ts will come next week. And 5th will be the community involvement. How does a community come into play to ensure, to help the familial and the family setup to get a conducive environment for our children to grow up as practicing Shias with the muhabbat of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Having done that, we come to the first part. And look, this is what we've seen it so many times and we've heard people talk about it. Children need guidance. I want to ask you a question. When your child is in a primary school, we just mentioned the primary setup that you've got is from 5 years to 12 years, so in prep and years 1 to 6. When a child wants to go into a primary school, again, remind you one thing. Things I'm saying might not be applicable to you. But rest assured, these boundaries have become so merged because of the social media that don't think they're far away. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if every single thing that I'm saying is already there. It may be hidden, but it could be very well be here. When your child wants to go to a primary school, does your child decide which school to go to? Say, Baba, I'm in year 3, I want to go into this school. Or do you decide, I feel you should go to this school, this is a good school. I feel you should go to this school. You know what, that school is good, let me go to the catchment area, let's move houses. People move houses to go to a good school. I want to go to that school. I want to send you to that school. For a child, when going to school, which is going to cater for his few years in this world, you take a decision on that child's decision on schooling. Then when it comes to religion, you have a massive problem. You say, taqleed ke silsile mein we want to let the child decide whom the child wants to do taqleed. When it comes to following the religion, we want to let the child decide whether that hijab is right for her. No, I don't want to force my child. I want to let my child herself decide when is the right time. It should come from the heart. What from the heart? What's going to come from the heart? To cover yourself in the West? Come on. Restriction is always not welcomed as opposed to liberalism. West is liberalism. Islam cocoons an individual. Islam will always give it things that the person feels that this is restrictive, as opposed to the liberal life of the West. You want to let your child, your girl, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, now he's about to turn baligha. No, I'm not going to force my girl because it has to come from inside. What inside you're talking about? That whole world outside is a mess. That whole world outside is a muck. You think with all those friends that she's got, and don't get fooled by Muslim friends, huh? I know what Muslim girls talk in school. I'm a chaplain. I go to prisons. I go to schools. I meet the representatives of the Pope when they come to Peterborough. I know what girls talk in school, what boys talk in school. With that muck lying outside, you think that giving her an opportunity to decide when to wear hijab, she's going to wear hijab. It's liberalism versus according to her restrictedness. And nobody likes restriction. She's never going to listen to it. She's never going to come out of her own self. Okay, year 9 goes, 10th, when she's 10 years, 11 years. She reaches 13 and 14. Oh, my dead body, you're going to put a chadar on her head. For school, which is for a few years, you take a decision. But for religion, you want to keep it on the girl or the boy? How does it work? That child needs your guidance. Just as you guide that boy or a girl into which school to go, you need to guide them whose taqleed you need to do. You need to guide them what needs to be done. They need your guidance. You can't leave them. If you leave them, the society will take up. Says who? Says the sixth Imam. During the time of the sixth Imam, there was a group called the Murji'ites. Imam Sadiq's hadith, "Khudu atfalakum qabla an ta'khudhuhum al-murji'a." Take hold of your children. Talk to them about your aqaid before the society, the Murji'ites, take over and deviate them from the path of the Ahlul Bayt. Over here, you've got the schools and the Western society. Everywhere outside you go, it's muck. You open newspapers, there is muck. You look at the billboards, there is muck. You look at television, there is muck. You go to school, every second word is a... You know what I'm talking about? Every second word. Girls and boys. And you want to leave her alone in that quagmire? This 8-year-old girl who's so indefensible. You want to say, दिल में आएगा तो करेगी तो फिर वो बराबर कर सकेगी. दिल में आएगा ही नहीं, लेकिन कैसे आएगा? शैतान खड़ा है, सोसाइटी खड़ी है. ये एक बच्चा किस तरह जो है वो मुकाबला कर सके सबका? She won't be able to do it. You are taking guidance of the school for her, which is for a few years, but something that is going to determine her akhirat, you don't want to guide her. You don't want to guide him. About the taqleed, you need to guide him. That person cannot be going to Tom, Dick and Harry and doing everybody's taqleed. You have to tell her, Baba, I know of people, as soon as the daughter is born, from the day she's born, they put covering on the head. She's young, she's born. Ab daluga to jo hai wo itni aadat hogi ki jab sar khula hoga to phir usko, she will not be comfortable. Now you know what is the situation? We keep the head open. So when the time comes to cover, it is inconvenient. Oh, I'm feeling hot. It's too hot in Melbourne. It's too inconvenient. But if somebody's been wearing something on her head from the day she's born, you take it out, she'll be uncomfortable. There have been people, from the day she was born, the mother has put covering on the head. That girl becomes 5 years. Ask me. I'm giving you my personal experiences. No theoretics. No theatrics. No everything practical. At 5 years, she's so accustomed to having that something on her head that when she goes to shower and she comes out, she doesn't even wait for the mother to dry her hair. She says, Mom, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Put me shower le aao, please. This is what we need to inculcate. We need to guide them. This 8-year-old, that 10-year-old boy, that 11-year-old boy, he's indefensible. We are supposed to cocoon. We're supposed to guide. They need our guidance. So this is one aspect. Don't leave it on your children. Guide them yourselves. Tell them what is right. Tell them what is wrong. Say, forget about people talking X, Y, Z marja. This is the marja that you need to follow. When you select a certain school, does she come and ask you? Does he come and ask you why the school? Do you give justification? He says, no, Mama, I don't want to go into this school because that is my friend is in that school. He says, let your friend go in that school. You'll go in this school. Why can this not be done for our children? Suddenly he comes and says, oh, that person is having Eid over here. We are having Eid on a separate day. Then you add fire. Oh, this is the problem with religion. Oh, see, everybody's having different. Why? Tell them, no, today is Eid, this is Eid. For small things, you want to be a guide. When something is determining the akhirat, you want to leave that. It is dhulma on the child. He needs guidance. You're not giving guidance. In the West, you've seen this. There's so many deviant ideologies that come. How many things you want to talk about? You want to talk about people standing up and saying, Hadith al-Qissa does not have sanad? You want, yeah. Hadith al-Qissa doesn't have sanad. Ziyarat-e-Ashura, who says it is Hadith al-Qudsi? So much lan, Allah is Arhamur Rahimin, so much lan He will give. Dua Nudba, it's all crying. It is a very negative sentiment. It is making a person gloomy. Friday is a day you should be nasheet, you should be active. You're always talking about crying. Aina anta, aina fulan, aina fulan, aina fulan. You know what I'm talking about. You're on social media. Probably the elders might not know. You know what is going on. What is happening from Aligarh University? You know what I'm talking about. That is another fitna that has come from Aligarh University, from the city of Aligarh. Everything is being put on a question mark. Imams don't have ilm al-ghaib. Imams don't have wilayat takwiniya. Imams are no special people. इमामों को जो है एक मामूली सा इंसान बनाकर हमारे सामने खड़ा कर दिया, ये तुम्हारा इमाम. And now these things, you don't realize, they pick this up. The new video comes. Just 2 days ago, that individual comes out with the video. According to the traditions, as soon as the sun sets, it's time for iftar. Eat. This child of yours is going to read that. Oh, this is fantastic. Breaking fast 20 minutes before the others are breaking fast. I like this man. Baba, but tell them, that boy is 34 years old. 2.5 times his age, Ayatollah Sistani studied in the house. Whose will you listen to? Whose duty is it? Is it the Jamaat's duty? Is it PSV's duty? Is it the Maulana's duty? It's your parents' duty. Take your child, sit down, tell them how long it takes for a person to become a mujtahid, how long it takes to become a marja. That person has studied for 70, 80 years. This boy's age is 34. He wants to give a fatwa that is opposite to the marja's fatwa. Explain, you can't go here, you have to go with this one. He's more knowledgeable. He's picking up from here and there. You need to sit and talk. If you don't talk, who will? अगर हम अपने बच्चों को नहीं सिखाएंगे तो don't expect the neighbors will come and teach your child, because you don't go and teach the neighbor's child. So you have a responsibility as a parent to teach and guide the child. With all these deviant ideologies, you as parents need to know what is happening. It's good to earn for the livelihood for the family, but what good is a livelihood if it imperils or puts into problems the akhirat of a child? Are we not supposed to know what is happening? You need to sit with the child. That's what I'm saying. The guidance is necessary. You need to highlight, look, this person is saying this. This is not right. Highlight the individual. This is not a good individual. This is not a right individual, so that this person knows what is happening. That 11-year-old child sees somebody shooting up verse after verse. You think this is Allah Majlisivana. But tell him, no, this is not right. Who tells him? Baba, your madrasa teachers, they are struggling. And I've not had any session with madrasa. Tomorrow I've got a session with Raza bhai. I'm with Raza bhai. But somebody has to sit with them. It is a parent's job. Tell them, look, this ideology is circulating. It is not right. Look at Hadith Kisa. Somebody saying Sanad is not there. A person like Ayatollah Marhum, Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Rada Gul Paigani, when Hadith Kisa is reciting, he sits with his Amama, puts his Rida, and he sits and listens. When he's asked why, he says, don't you know whose names are being called out? I can't sleep and listen. Tell them, teach them. We need to teach the muqaddasat, the sanctity of our text to these children. Not just take them to football and cricket. We've got to guide them. They need our guidance. Pick up what are these ideologies. If you don't know them, how will you tell them? You have to be aware of what is happening. Then you pick up these ideologies and say, hey, listen, this man is saying that 12 hours or 12, 13 hours or 15 hours of fast for a girl is dhulm. This is what is there. There are talks in Europe, in England, in north of where I stay in Peterborough. People say the girl fasting at 9 years is dhulm on the girl. God cannot do dhulm. So this girl she doesn't have to fast at the age of 9. You need to sit with them and say, look, big scholars have never objected. This person suddenly comes up from the West. Is it possible that we go with this ideology? We need to sit and explain these. My advice is highlight these individuals and tell them, don't go to those places. Don't listen to them. Those sites that are there, I'm telling you, if our kids keep repeatedly watching, you're not going to be able to save them. You're not going to be able to save them. And that is the reason Ayatollah Sistani, all the Maharaj have said, haram, ya haramu, it is haram to keep kutub al-dhalla. books that deviate in the house, even if you're not reading. Huh? Porn books, haram in the house. Wahhabi books, Ibn Taymiyyah, haram in the house. It is there. Somebody gave me a gift. You can't keep it in the house. It is haram. Someday you are at work, your wife is at work, this child picks up and reads. Ibn Taymiyyah says, the only ilmul ghaib is for the Prophet. Tak, pati gayi baat. Imams don't have ilmul ghaib. Now try sorting that boy out. Because you left something in the house that was not supposed to be left in the house. So be careful. They need to be guided. They need to be guided by you as parents. I don't expect my neighbor, I don't expect Mu'mineen to come to my house to teach my children. It's my duty. If I don't take care of my children, nobody else will. And don't complain at the age of 18 when he's always standing outside. So, in summary, when it comes to challenges, they need to be guided. Guided in terms of whom to follow. Guided in terms of whom not to listen to. Guided in terms of whom not to adhere to. Identify those individuals. Tell them this is the age where you grill and drill in their mindset. Just as you told them, this school is good. Baba, is this school good? Are you sending me in this school? Yes, this is a very good school. Okay, I will go to this school. Similarly, you tell them, this Maulana is good. That Maulana, that speaker, just stay away. If you hear something, come to me. That is how you need to guide. Otherwise, these children, I'm telling you, it's dhulm on them in the quagmire of the Western world with the deviant idea. What are you? You know, yeah? In UK, there is this concept that 80% of the Shiite hadith are all forged. They have no background. 80% of the Shia hadith. If this concept goes into the mind of a child, good luck for you to take them out. You have to cocoon them. You have to shelter them. Sixth Imam said, take them before the society takes them. Spend time with them. And I'll come to that now. Sometimes it gets so mind-blogging, huh, Ali? I was in Mombasa in Muharram. And before that, I was in another country. Now, in one of these places, I don't want to specify that, a 65-year-old man, listen, a 65, we had our food, we were sitting. 65, 70-year-old man. See, when I say that fitna from Aligarh, he's also put question marks on Al-Ghadir. Yes? This man, 65, 70, we had food. After Majlis, we went, we had food. We're sitting. Saying, Maulana, ek baat tumhane kyo? You tell me one thing. I'm speaking in Gujarati. Saying, I knew him, yeah. So he's telling me, Maulana, just tell me, this incident of Ghadir, is the sanad sahih? And I felt the earth splitting under my feet metaphorically. If a 70-year-old person at that age, when one of his foot is in the grave, is beginning to doubt Ghadir, khalas then, what have you left then? Without Ghadir, what have you got? You tell me. There's nothing left. If you remove Ghadir, what is left? Nothing. At 70-year-old. So what are you talking about this 10, 11 and 12-year-old man? Raham karo un par, sahi bata raha hu main. Khuda ke samne jawab dena hai hमें. Don't let them be alone. Don't let them be at the mercy of the wolves of the society who are out to denigrate them, who are out to outrage their iman. Don't. Nahi karo. That's first. They need guidance. And because of that, now you come to something very important. See, if you were to ask me, from what little experience I've got, are the top two things that play an extremely, and I'm talking about not du'as, I'm talking about dawa, the medicine, the things that we do, not the du'as, that will come afterwards. Some amal, very, very mujarrab, that every parent needs to do for the child, if that parent has got something in his heart called love for the child. But next week. Something that is very important when it comes to, if you were to ask me, tell me the top two, one of the top two things that is most effective in ensuring my son remains on the straight path. We've seen people, used to recite Dua Kumail. 5 years later, they are into cocaine. Ask me, man. That's why I'm telling you. This is coming straight from the heart. Take care, man. If you ask me, two most important things that really help effectively in keeping a child upbringing straight, out of two things, tell me one. You know what I would say? It's spend time with your children. जितना हो सके अपने बच्चों के साथ time spend करो. Earning money is good, not at the iman of the child. The child needs you. He doesn't need your gifts. He doesn't need your money. I know of children whose parents are not able to spend time, and they shower him with gifts and money. At any given moment in time, in his purse, in his wallet, $500, $600, talking about 300, 400 pounds. Where he's gone? To weed? Into what? Into what? Because the parents were not able to spend time, they wanted to compensate with gifts. Gifts don't protect children. They need time. They need you to sit with them. They need you to talk with them. I have seen parents who spend time with their kids turn out Shabi Juma over here. Parents who don't spend time, they're outside. Not outside the mosque, outside some other place. The spending of time, we don't understand how important it is for the kids. That time that is not given becomes a rebellion of sorts afterwards. Try to spend time. And over here, that is very important. These are your legacies that you leave behind after you die. Every individual wants to leave a legacy. Donald Trump, when he was there, he said, I want to leave a legacy behind. Everybody wants to leave a legacy behind. These are our legacies. We need to take care of them. What I fail to understand is, why is it that a parent only thinks, I don't want to give them time? It is the job of the madrasa to do it. Well, how many hours in a day, in a week, does a madrasa take care of your child? You tell me. Have you ever entered a classroom of the madrasa to know how it operates? Ask me. Ask me. 2014. From 2004 to today, it's now 2023. I've been in and out of classrooms. I've handled schedules, timetables, rotas. A child of 25 in a classroom, you expect 1 hour a day by a teacher for 25 students of a 45-minute lecture to make him Allama Dahar. My friend, you're asking for the moon. Don't think just by sending a child to the madrasa, your duties are finished. They're just catering to a small portion of their time. They are doing an effort for your child. And this is not just in, I don't know about PSP, we'll have to sit and discuss fully exactly what it is, a few things here and there. But I know how this works. Madrasa is treated as I want to go shopping, so I don't want to take my kid along. So I have 4 hours over here. But that is not going to be enough for your child. The rest of the time he's at home. The rest of the time he's with you. How much can a teacher do? And if you yourself are not able to teach your child, don't expect the others to teach your child. How many times have you actually taken the madrasa book, open and say, okay, Muhammad, what did you learn today? Is there something that you don't know? Is there something I can answer you? Did you have a talk with your friends? Something complicated, something that you don't understand? How many of us have done it? That boy, if he doesn't understand something and it develops into a problem and it's not solved, it goes against Shiaism, I'm telling you. I'm telling this to you. He needs to have his questions answered. And that's why any Jummah that doesn't have a resident alim, I tell them, get a resident alim. Because I've seen this in my family. My cousin lived in Saudi Arabia. He went to work at a young age. For a few years, we just lost contact, 7, 8 years. All of a sudden, he happened to get my number. I was in Iran. He wrote to me, Bhaijan, कैसे हो कैसा नहीं फला फला भाईजान मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि शियत जो है वो सही नहीं है और मैं जो हूँ सोच रहा हूँ कि अहले तसन्नुन की तरफ रुझान मेरा है तो I'm trying to turn over. I said, Fulan, what are you talking? He says, yes, मुझे लग रहा है कि जो है शियत के पास सही नहीं है मजा. I said, but Fulan, you were, और वो डोंगरी में, you know डोंगरी यार, India. That is the heart of Azadari. He was a person who would have the rose water in the pump, and when they would do Zanjeer Matam, he would throw rose water on the backs. I said, Fulan, you, and now this. He says, बस भाईजान ऐसी बात है. ना मसला क्या है? The masala ye hai ki there are certain questions I'm not getting answers to. Shia does not have answers to. I'm not getting answers from Shias. So I said, hold on. Because I was stunned. I said, ek baat sun. Hold on. Ruk jao. Let's maintain status quo. Give me some time. Ask me your questions. I will try to answer to the best of my ability. अगर जो है हमने आंसर जवाब दे दिया और तुम मुतमईन हो जाओ तो फिर अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह तुम बाकी हो. नहीं हुआ तो फिर जहां जाना तुम चले जाओ. Because I was elder in the family, he respected me. He said, hi, Abbas, take it. You know, we must have exchanged more than 100 letters, emails. 100. More than 100. Over a long period of time. You know, one time he comes and says, Bhaijan, I've understood my mistake. I'm not changing. I did not have the answers. It was not that the Shiites did not have the answer. This is what happens when there's a problem in a child and it's not solved. It gets built up, built up, built up, built up, becomes a mountain. Then he says, oh, this religion doesn't answer my heart. बैठो लेके, take time out. They need your time. They don't need your money. एक टॉय दे दिया ठीक है, वो कुछ लम्हे के लिए खुश हो गए. एक खिलौना दे दिया, कहीं बाहर होटल में ले गए, खिला दिया, चलिए ठीक है. But that is not going to solve his spiritual needs. He needs time. Give them time. I'm telling you, my experience, in a nutshell, one of the most effective ways of getting your children stay on the right path of the Ahlul Bayt is spend time with them, the parents. I'm looking at you, but I'm also referring to the ladies. Spend time with the kids. How many examples do you want me to give? There was a friend of my son in the same class, year 7. Now my son has become big, now he's 17. Year 7. They both went into the same school, secondary. They were so close that he would come to my house to play PS4 with my son. Today, he's got a criminal record in the police station. He peddles drugs. He moves around with gangs. He's entered into gang fights. And I remember this boy. He was such a nice boy. I'm telling you, his father, his parents, better beware of God on the day of judgment. His father was so occupied with work. Go early in the morning, come at night. When he's going, this guy's getting ready to go to school. Hardly kuch baat. When he gets up in the morning, the father. This boy's getting ready to go to school. Hardly salam dua, khalas, Khuda Hafiz. This boy comes home, falan, at night goes to sleep. Ye formative years ki baat kar raha hu. 5 and 15, remember this? 5 and 15, raat ko wo aaye, late, this boy is already gone to sleep. No contact with the father. I realized things were not going right because he was getting wrong friends. And there was no support from the father. I remember distinctly well, yeah, I may be old, but I remember distinctly well. I met him in Qabristan on one of the mayyats that had taken place. I'm telling him, Fulan, your son needs you, my friend. I'm seeing things. Spend time with him. You're not with him. He said, Mawlana, inshallah, I will do that. I said, Fulan, not inshallah, he needs you now. He didn't listen. Today, he's gone off track. He peddles, he's into police stations, he's into gang fights, he's into whatnot. A beautiful soul, like pool tha bacha, made go to waste by the absolute negligence of the father. This father cannot enter paradise till he answers God. He cannot. He's wasted a generation, not wasted an individual. This boy, when he grows up, he's got a record in the police station. Every time he wants to go for a job, it will come up. Every time he wants to take a passport, it will come up. And this will not leave him. You enter into this field, you don't get left out. They don't leave you. He's stuck. That man has spoiled a generation up to the day of judgment, unless the intervention of God comes in and rahmat of God comes in. Spend time with your kids. I'm telling you, give them time. Sit with them, talk with them, play with them. It doesn't have to be always spending time talking about religion. Allah, ek panch tan, panch bar aima. No, I'm not saying that. Just spend time, develop that love. Many times I have seen kids, and you don't understand. I've been dealing with kids. Many times they don't do things out of the respect of the father. I have heard kids tell me, ये आया हमारे पास, मुझे सिगरेट ये ऑफर किया उसने. He offered me a cigarette. I said, क्या क्या फिर तुमने? He said, no, I did not take it. I said, why? Was the teacher watching? He says, no. He said, but you know what? I wanted to take it, but I thought if I take it and if my dad comes to know, he'll get so upset. So because of my love for my dad, I did not take it. This is what you want. You want an internal policeman for your child. You need to develop that internal policeman. आप और हम कितना ध्यान रख सकेंगे मुझे बताइए. ये बच्चे लोग जो है ना वो ये मुस्तहिदीन है ये सोशल मीडिया में. You put any tracking information, they will bypass it. You will not know where they're going. You will not know where they're going. आप मॉनिटर करें, आप डोमेन्स लगाए, आप फायरवॉल्स लगाए, आप ये these people can circumvent anything that you can put. The only thing that can save them is you have to instill that internal policeman, and that internal policeman will come out of love for the parents and love for the God. That is what you need to inculcate. ये ऐसे नहीं है कि जो है मासूमीन हमसे कहते अपने बच्चों के दिल में अली की मोहब्बत डालो. This is the outcome. कि कोई देखने वाला नहीं है, टीचर नहीं है, माँ बाप नहीं है, सिर्फ बच्चे हैं, ना कोई कैमरास है. वॉशरूम में कौन कैमरा क्यूबिकल्स में डालता है? मगर फिर भी जो है तमाम जो है मराहिल फराहम है, लेकिन फिर भी वो सिगरेट नहीं लेता. क्यों? मेरे बाबा को पता चल जाएगा तो कितना दुख होगा. Can we guarantee that our children have got that much love for us? Then khosha bahal. Then glad tidings to you. This boy will never go astray. But don't mark if you keep doing it, my friend. You can subjugate somebody with force. 7 years, yes. 9 years, yes. 12 years, yes. 14 years, yes. Now he goes to the gym. 15 years and 18 years. And he goes to college. Now Khuda Hafiz. Those days are gone when you could frighten me. Now I'm getting loan from the government for my education. I'm strong enough. I can manage myself. Don't threaten me. Don't threaten me. So, before I put it over, I think it's time. Spend time with your kids. Don't put too much pressure on the madrasa. They cannot deliver. Not that they don't want to deliver. A madrasa with 400 students and X number of teachers. बाबा आप लोग के घर में 2 बच्चे आप लोग देख नहीं सकते. वो एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि वो टीचर लोग 400 बच्चों को देखेंगे. They're doing to the best of their ability. You take care of your children. These are practical. Huh? I'm not giving you those high-funda, beautiful words that come into the dictionaries and, in these PowerPoint presentation and workshop with all the beautiful words. It sounds so fantastic. This is coming straight from the heart. Because this is what we see. वो लड़के को मैं जब भी देखता हूँ ना, I see him, that vision of him playing with my kid PS4 and year 7 flashes by my eyes. कहाँ था वो लड़का, एक साफ दिल पाक बच्चा, आज जो है drug peddler बन गया. You feel like crying. Give time, give time. मदरसे पर डिपेंड ना रहो. They cannot fulfill. Again, I'm saying not because they don't want to. They cannot. They've got families themselves. They've got work themselves. Take them. बच्चों की किताबें लीजिए. Sit with them. Explain to them. You got Maulana Mehdavi with you, mashallah. He's such a brilliant man. You can talk to him. Tell him if you don't understand something from the book. He'll explain to you. Go back and tell them. So first of all, challenges. Guide them on whom the leaders are. Identify whom they should not listen to. What books they should not read to. What ideologies they should not follow to. Take out, name those individuals. देखो मोहम्मद वो फलान जो है वो ये बात करता है गलत बात है. उनकी मजलिस से ना सुना करो. Tell him. बोलने में क्या प्रॉब्लम है आपको जो आपकी बच्चे की जिंदगी. मगर क्या जो है वो शलमगानी के वक्त जो है मौलाना ने तौकी नहीं भेजी थी. शलमगानी का कजिया क्या था. When Hussein ibn Raw and Nawbakhti, the third naib of Imam, became the naib, Shalmagani was on the same level as Hussein ibn Raw. This is the time of Ghaibat al-Sughra. Ghaibat al-Sughra, Imam had 4 naibs. Muhammad ibn Uthman, Uthman ibn Sa'id. Uthman ibn Sa'id, Muhammad ibn Uthman. And the third one, Hussein ibn Raw. When Muhammad ibn Sa'id, the second naib of Imam, passed away, it was time for the third naib. At that time, Shalmaghani was one of the very prominent ulama. He thought he would become the naib of Imam. But Imam to dil ke raaz ko jante hai na. He knew what this man was. He gave the tawqeem, Imam Zamana, ke after me the third naib is Hussain ibn Raw. Itna chatka laga, itna bura laga, he turned against Imam, he turns against everybody. He started to say, Maula ke jo hai wo unki ruh mere jism mein aa rahi hai, Rasool Khuda ki ruh mere jism mein aa rahi. Started talking all nonsense. You know what Imam did? He wrote a letter to Tawqi. Say, Inna Shalmaghani qad kafar. Shalmaghani has become kafir. La'anatullahi alayhi. Allah ki la'nat us par ho. Tell the mu'mineen it is haram for them to follow him. अगर कोई गुमराह करता हो और इमाम जैसे इमाम अगर जो उसका नाम लेके name and shame कर सकते, so what is wrong with you naming and shaming individuals who are trying to take away the imam of your children, iman of your children? बताओ ये इंसान गलत बयान कर रहा है, ये जो चैनल्स आ रहे हैं बता रहा है ये हम रिफॉर्म करें फलां करें, गलत है ये, ना सुनो ना देखो. You need to be very responsible. This is what I'm saying. Responsible बनिए अपने बच्चों के निस्बत. Take it upon yourself. I can go on and on with these things because we've seen so many things. Yeah, if there's any questions, then we can take it forward. The next 2 points and then the don'ts. Those don'ts are very important. I will pass those points to you next week, but those don'ts are very important. You do that, then we all cry. We don't want to cry for our children. हम हमेशा यही दुआ करते हैं कि परवरदिगार आलम जो है अपने बच्चों के दिल में मोहब्बत अली और आले अली हमेशा जो है डाल, और हमारी नस्ल क़यामत तक चले और क़यामत तक हर फर्द जो हमारी नस्ल में हो वो मुहिब्बिन अली हो. But it does not come by itself. There has to be an effort. Nothing was given on a silver platter. कहा जाता है ना कि वो क़यामत के दिन 1000 सफ़ हो गए और 1000 सफ़ में से 999 सफ़ लोगों की शफात से इमाम हुसैन करेंगे. वो करबला में जो वाक़या हुआ ना, जो इम्तिहान दिया, तब जाके ये मकाम मिला है, बैठे बैठे नहीं मिला. Similarly for our kids, if we don't make an effort, then we have only ourselves to blame. Yes. Okay. To what extent should parents force religion upon the children in different age brackets? In trying to force the children till they are not of a level whereby they can understand good from bad, wrong from right, it is your duty to force. वो जो कहते हैं ना कि हमें फोर्स नहीं करना है इनको दाढ़ी रखने के लिए, वो दिल से जब होगा तो दाढ़ी रखेंगे, और दिल से कभी नहीं होने वाला. Get it clear. There may be शाद और नादर few percent, 2-4% जो है वो कर ले, but 95% don't. You have to force them. वो जो कहते हैं ना वो हमेशा जो है वो ले आते हैं ये आयत ला इकराह फिद्दीन, सूरह बकरा की जो है वो आयतुल कुर्सी, ला इकराह फिद्दीन. मौलाना आप कहते हैं बच्चों को जो है वो फोर्स करे up to a certain age. जो बच्चे थोड़े जब तक ना समझें 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 फोर्स करे, शेव ना करो बाबा. सब मेरे फ्रेंड्स शेव करते, उनको करने दो, तुम ना करो. बताओ शेव करने से इस तरह है जिस तरह इमाम हुसैन की पीठ पे खंजर मारा जाता है, बताओ उनको. मतलब मौलाना सब लोग कहते हैं कि ला इकराह फिद्दीन, दीन के अंदर जबरदस्ती नहीं, इकराह नहीं, फोर्स नहीं, there should be no compulsion on religion. But do you know what that ayat is all about? That la ikraha fid deen is not related to this aspect of putting hijab and putting beard. That la ikraha fid deen is accepting Islam. In accepting Islam, Islam says there is no compulsion. You want to come into Islam, you come into Islam. You don't want to come into Islam, don't come into Islam. Once you come into Islam, you have no option, my friend. दाढ़ी रखनी ही होगी. बुलाने के लिए हमने फोर्स नहीं किया, मगर खुद एक मर्तबा वारिद हो गए ना, you have to follow. It's like when you go to the United States. You go to the United States, you say, okay, you've come over, you've got your visa, show me your visa. Okay, this is your S star. Now you want to enter. Okay, so give your fingerprints. I don't want to give fingerprints. But you have to give fingerprints, otherwise you cannot go inside. He says, no, I don't agree with it. I said, here's a ticket, here's a boarding pass, flight back to UK. We didn't force you to come inside. But now that you want to come inside, you need to follow our rules. Our rules are if you want to come inside, fingerprints. Did we force you to come to the US? You came on your own, but now that you come on your own, if you're earning, you have to have an IRS number, you have to have a social security number. We need to have knowledge about every transaction you do. We need to have reports of all your annual global income. If you don't tell us, we'll put you in jail. But I don't accept all of this. So nobody asked you to come over here. Once you come over here, you have to follow. This La Ikraha Fid Din is not about following once you're inside. That is on the actual acceptance of Islam, where Allah says, I'm not forcing you to come to Islam. You want to come, you come. You don't want to come, you don't come. But once you come into Islam, then there is no La Ikraha Fid Din. You have to do it. To what extent should parents force? Parents should force till such a time that the parents realize that this child is now able to understand right from wrong and take his own decision. This could be 14. This could be 15. This could be 16. At 23, I force my son even now. Because he trusts me. And I tell him this is not right. And he accepts it. At times he may not like it. But I says, no, this is not right. I sit and I explain, he explains, he understands. 23, he's married. He's married. The crux is over here. How much liberty you want to give your child? Do you want to give the liberty to your child to an extent that he can wreck his akhirat? By all means. But if you really care for your child, you will cocoon him till he's at a time. There was a time we used to force everything upon my son and they would accept it. But now they realize what I was saying is correct. Now 99% of the time they take their own decision and I'm seeing it. It's right, so I'd let them go. So this is dependent upon individual child. But a girl of 8 and 9, a child of 10 and boy of 10 and 11 and 12, they cannot have an open say. They will go wrong because they don't have the ability to judge. Don't leave them at the mercy of the devils of the society. They will devour them. Forget about physical. I'm not talking about physical. Their iman will go away. They will devour their iman. And then when we are 75 and 80, we will be crying tears of blood. Kahan gayi meri nasl? Where is my nasl? We see people, in our community. All sorts of things on their things. Gone. Kabhi sab. Kutton ko leke chalte. Kutton ko leke chalte. Shia. कुछ तो मुसलमान आशूरे में नजर आते हैं। ये तो कभी कभार अपने जो है रिश्तेदार की मैयत हो गई तो कभी जो है कब्रिस्तान में नजर आएगा। कौन सा दीन, कौन सा खुदा, क्या है? As parents, we're concerned about social media influencers. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat should be completely restrict social media use, or how do we manage it? It's such a difficult question. I don't know. It all boils down to this 5 to 15 years. From the age of 5 to the age of 10, if you held them back, my son doesn't have any Facebook, any except WhatsApp. There's no account. There's no account. Forget about me. Yeah, I don't have an account. I don't have a YouTube channel. I have nothing. Forget about me. If you remember the time when Donald Trump was the president, yeah, and the CIA director had retired, and it was some Gina Hull or Gull who was supposed to be he had proposed her name to be the CIA director, and she was before the Congress, and one of the senators asked her, okay, what social media accounts do you have? And she said, I don't have a social media presence. The person who controls everybody's social media doesn't have a social media account, because she knows if you have been able to take your child from the age of 5 to 10, form the proper mindset, keep drilling. This is where the time comes spending. Batate jao, kehte jao. Baba, we studied in physics, water erosion, hydraulic erosion. पानी जब पत्थर पर भी पड़ता है ना तो पत्थर में सुराख कर देता है, तो फिर इंसान की ज़हनियत क्या? Keep talking, you will make a change. But that requires time, that requires effort, that requires resolve. कहते जाओ बच्चों को, 5 साल का बच्चा तब से कहो अली, सादिक, रसूल खुदा, दीन, खुदा की इताअत, ये सब चीज गलत है, म्यूजिक गलत है, ये कपड़े जो लड़कियां पहन के घूमती है गलत है, ना देखो। फिर वो बच्चा जब बड़ा होता है तो फिर कोई लड़की आएंगे तो नजर नीचे कर देगा, वरना आप उसे कुछ ना खाए, then you say, oh, He's gone on a dating party. Not job. It's too late. He's out of your hands. You can't stop him. You've not trained his mindset. It starts from 8, 5, 6, 7, 8 work. Na samjho chote hai. They understand everything. They understand everything. आजकल के 2 साल के बच्चे को आप फोन देगा ना तो खोल के टप टप खेलना शुरू कर देगा. हमारे जमाने में हम तो भोंदू थे सब. कुछ नहीं जानते थे सब चीज़. They know. Don't think they don't know. Spend time. Keep drilling, keep talking, keep drilling, keep talking till it goes into their mindset. फिर इतना अली जो है वो दिमाग में हो, इतना दीन दिमाग में हो, इतना फिक़्ह दिमाग में हो कि कोई भी कहे गलत नहीं नहीं मम्मी ने कहा ये हराम है हम नहीं देखेंगे. If you act as a personal policeman, there's only certain places you can go to. But if you develop the internal policeman, you don't have to be anywhere. That internal policeman will help him. What is your advice for internet usage for different age groups? Again, this is very subjective. It varies from different people to different people. Each one has to monitor and identify the child of his. No two child are similar. I can't say for him 2 hours and for her 2.5 hours. And always remember one thing, yeah. मस्ती मजाक में we make fun of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan जो है वो हमेशा कहते थे कि उसका एक जुमला बहुत common हो गया था, very famous. It's trust, but verify. आप trust करें, but verify करें. आप अपने बेटे को बहुत trust करते हैं, पर जब रात को सो जाना तो उसका WhatsApp उठा के Instagram उठा के देखिए. Not that you don't trust him, you trust him, but you want to verify. ऐसा तो नहीं कि कोई उठपटांग जो है friends बन गया हो. ऐसा तो नहीं कि कोई उठपटांग contacts आ गया हो कि ये नहीं समझ रहा हो, आगे जाकर नुकसानदेह हो. Trust करो, verify करो. Pick up the phone, read the messages, see who your Instagram. Why do we just leave things just nonchalant? नहीं मम्मी मैं जो हूँ बस सिर्फ WhatsApp पे हूँ. WhatsApp पे तो देखिए क्या बातचीत हो रही है. Is he using 4-letter words? You need to stop now. You try to stop him after 2 years. He's habituated to that 4-letter word. पहली बार जब देखे तो stop it. ये क्या है? मम्मी सब लोग कहते नहीं गलत है ये, हराम है ये, तुम या हुसैन कहते हो, वही जबान से तुम ये F-letter word यूज करेंगे, गलत है बेटा, this is not right. बैठिए, सिखाइए, समझाइए, समझे वो कि इस जबान से जिसमें मैं हुसैन कहता हूँ उससे ये वर्ड्स नहीं निकल सकते. फिर वो समझेगा. नहीं मेरा बेटा तो बहुत माशा मदरसा जाता है, एवरी सैटरडे संडे है, हर बार मैं उसको मदरसे मस्जिद में लेकर आता हूँ, बराबर बैठे रहता है, खूब बराबर बैठे रहता है. आपका बेटा सही है, दुनिया तो सही नहीं है. वो कहते हैं ना, when you drive the car you have to be safe. You don't crash into somebody and somebody else doesn't crash into you. You can only control your car. You can't control somebody else's car. So you have to be on the watch out. Same thing with the kids. You trust your child, you trust somebody else, his friends, her friends. If I would tell you, अभी मौका नहीं है, कभी वो छोटी महफिल महरमाना होगी तो मैं आपको बताऊंगा स्कूल में क्या होता है. Probably शायद आप जानते हैं, नहीं जानते. I go to school. I am on a first name basis with the teachers. I know what goes inside. I get to see what they write on the boards, what they draw on the boards. Where are you guys? Where are we? What they write. Andrew Tate. फिर से आ गया ये. Andrew Tate, Dr. Sir. Teen boys are getting inspired by personalities like Andrew Tate. How to handle this? If it's 16 and above and 17 and above, good luck. Good luck. This has to start. That's why I said, ये 5 साल से लेके 15 साल तक है. Get that. And this will come next time. Next session, first thing, setting priorities right. Don't set wrong priorities. When priorities are set wrong, you get Andrew Tate. When priorities are right, then it will be Majlis and Matam. No rocket science to this, huh? No rocket science at all. It's about tuning the mindset at a proper age. 5 to 15. You take your kids in this age group, enjoying for the rest of your life. You are nonchalant in this age group. You'll have, not saying everything is all done and dusted, no. The challenge increases manifold, exponentially. So between 5 and 15, work hard, get their mindset, drill religion into their mind, grill religion into the mind. Automatically, everything will be sorted out. Once the things get sorted out, then there is no Andrew Tate. As of now, I can't help you. Very honest, I don't know How do I? If it's somebody 17, 18, how do you stop him? He said, how can you slap an 18-year-old boy? How? And he's been given that liberty for 18 years. You can't take away the liberty. This had to come in force when he was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then there would be no Andrew trade. But if liberty has been given for such a long time, now you can't take it. But still you can try. I don't know to what level the depth of penetration of Andrew Tate is, so my apologies, I cannot answer this. Okay. Okay. Should we put, this is an important question, and again, hear me out clearly on this, yeah? And I think probably this is the last one. Yeah. Should we put our young children in Muslim schools, Sunni, or public schools, and teach Islam ourselves? Should parents consider homeschooling the children to protect them from the scary info they may be exposed to at schools? I was speaking to somebody we were speaking to a group in Peterborough. I'm giving you an example about when this question comes here, about should we consider homeschooling the children to protect them from the scary info they may be exposed to schools? See, this is what I say. And this is also part of the effort of the community. In Peterborough, we've got 5 mosques, and we've gathered together, collaborated. We've got 3 Sunni mosques, 1 Wahhabi mosque, 1 Shia mosques. And we had formed a group in which I was part of the imam representing all the 5 mosques. We would have meetings with the mayor, with the police commissioner, very high-level meetings whereby we would discuss a lot of things. You must be aware that over here, I am aware it's come over here, but it's come very deeply in the States. It's called RSE, Religion and Sex Education. When you mentioned about inappropriate material, Mu'minin, I have seen these books. I have seen what they teach. Year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7. I have seen the graphics. I have seen the terminologies that I use. I've seen the photographs. And this is not going to go away anywhere. I have seen the cards that they use to teach. They want to teach porn. We need to teach porn to this 10-year-old girl. You know why? Because we don't want her to be abused online. Yeah, and then by these cards, by this graphic, by these graphics, you're exhorting her and him to go there. But no, we want this. Understand, this homeschooling, this is not going to help out. Always. Going into Muslim schools is not going to help out always completely. Get me right. Don't quote me or misquote me. I'm not saying it's not right. What I'm saying is that you cannot escape from this agenda that is being rolled out all over the world. And rest assured, this is not coming from the Department of Education only. It's being spread out through the United Nations. Time will come and you will see this, and it's already started. The release of funds and loans to countries will be dependent on them implementing these curriculums in their schools. It's coming. It's already started. Look at Kenya, what happened recently. The LGBT, the court gave a ruling. It's coming. You can't save your kids anywhere in today's world. You save them from school. You can't save them from the internet. You can't save them from the friends. You can't save them from the society. Are you going to keep the child prisoner in your house 24/7? The only thing that is, you have to equip this child. You cannot escape. It has to be taken on head on. It has to be taken head on. There was a time when it was regarded, oh, Africa was safe. Ask me. I know about the African curriculum. I've dealt with them. It's not safe. Nowhere today is safe. Pakistan, you know. India, you know what is happening. Everywhere it is there. Who would have thought a country like India, in which you got Hindutva, you got LGBT in Hindutva. But look what's happening now. Used to have moral police, morality police in parks picking up ladke ladki bade bhagate the, marte the, bhagao. But look what's happening. So there is no place on earth that's going to be safe. Aaj nahi to kal is going to come. The only solution is you have to devote time on your child, to equip the child. Take hold of their mindset that the sixth Imam said. Khudu atfalakum. Take the minds of your child with your aqaid and your beliefs and your akhlaq and your etiquettes. قبل أن تأخذهم المرجع. Before the evils of the society take their hearts and minds. How many of us have actually, honestly, and without using, I'm trying to be very civil in view of the group that is there, how many of us have, and look, because I was asked to be very clean and open, so I'm being very open in terms of my talk, but how many of us have actually sat with our kids to talk to them about the realities of life? How many of us? What are you ashamed of? What is wrong for a mother to sit with a child, with a daughter, and explain, look, these are the things that are the realities of life? Because the reason, you know why I'm saying is this. If a father is not able to sit with a child and explain what are the halals and harams, understand, yeah, they will go in society and learn. What you teach, you have a control over it. What they learn outside, you have no control over it. They learn what the society wants to teach them. And it will definitely not necessarily be in sync with Islam. You keep shame, this child is in trouble. You keep saying this is haram, and they will go onto the internet and bring you 100 pages showing scientific ruling, showing scientific proof, show this action is absolutely okay. It's a normal for. Now what are you gonna do? Because he's already learned it in school and society, now you are already at the back seat. Because first you have to erase what he's understood, then you put your own opinion. That is double challenge. As opposed to first you take him before it goes outside. Say, Baba, dekhi, ye bhi cheezein hoti hai. In Islam mein galat hai. Science walo kahe ki achhi baat hai. Lekin ek martaba Khuda ne kaha galat hai, to galat hai, kyunki Khuda Allamul Ghuyub hai, Khuda ye hai, Khuda sab janta hai. Keep drilling. Here, once you've settled it into his mind, then his teacher says, no, this is a normal act for a child. It's absolutely okay. Nothing wrong with it. Now they are at the back foot because you've already embedded your views inside. This is what sixth Imam says. Take your children, embed your views so that the others are a backseat. So for all of these things, you may try as much as you want. Although for homeschooling, we have researchers and I've seen people, because of homeschooling, there are certain psychological disadvantages. But we have to see. You can send them to Muslim schools. Even Muslim schools, there are problems. I know there are girls' schools and boys' schools. Girls going to girls' schools come and tell us what is happening over there. Again, they're not safe over there. So it all comes down to, you may try the least destructive way, which could be a Sunni school, which could be homeschooling. But rest assured, any of these methods or all of these methods will never completely protect our children unless we get hold of their mentality. And that's why I always said 5 to 15, get hold of them, formulate their mentality, their mindset, their attitude. By 15, you get them. This boy is in your hands. This girl is now the Kaniz of Hazrat Zahra. She will never go anywhere. But those 10 years, you have to shed blood. It's not a joke. You have to shed blood. You have to keep watching, keep monitoring, keep spending time, which requires a lot of effort. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. I think. Yeah, a lot of questions that are there. We have got another session next Friday in which another few very important points will come. And the most important point, if a person can change the heart of a person like the son of Yazid to become the follower of Ahlul Bayt, then anything is possible and everything is possible. We need to invoke him. We can't leave him out. मैं ये कर दूंगा नहीं इंशाअल्लाह अगर खुदा ने चाहा अगर परवरदिगार की मशीयत हो. And the Imams have given us certain criteria, certain very mujarrab amal specifically for the parents, for the khair of the children, for the khair of the children. So that inshallah will pass it on to you next week. There are a lot of questions that have come. I'm pretty tired now, so we will try to address it next week. A lot of things that you may have written over here will come probably in those other points that I'm going to give next week. Let's wait till next week and see how it pans out. And if there are further questions, then we might have another session, this primarily to answer the questions. And yeah, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the wasila of the shahadat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Parwardigara tujhe हज़रत ज़हरा के फ़र्ज़ंद की शहादत का वास्ता हमारे बच्चों को जो है वो गुमराही से बचा दे। परवरदिगार हमारे बच्चों के ईमान को महफूज रख। परवरदिगार हमारी नस्ल क़यामत तक चलती रहे और हर फ़र्द हमारी नस्ल में परवरदिगार मुहिब अली और आले अली हो। हमारे आक़िबत बख़ैर हो, हमारे बच्चों की आक़िबत बख़ैर हो। सुब्हान रब्बिक रब्बिल इज़्ज़ति अम्मा यसिफ़ून व सलामुन अलल मुरसलीन वल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन।
मुतवज्जे ज़ियारत।
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس، السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس، السلام عليك يا مدفون بأرض طوس، السلطان العربي والأجام وسيران كوفة الشام ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل الله تعالى مخرجه وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.